House in Fata Morgana. So, after Michel entered the door at the top of the observation tower, he basically traveled back into the past to the time when Morgana was alive, but it's only like 3 days before her death, and Michel believes that if he can save Morgana from her death, then he can rid the mansion of the darkness. And then, I guess, at that point, Michel and Giselle will finally be free. From the cursed mansion, so Michel has found the church where Morgana is imprisoned, and right now he's trying to figure out a way to rescue her from the tower, because the tower is locked with 3 locks, and I guess he's gonna try and get the 3 keys that he needs to unlock the tower. And so far he's met Mel, but he hasn't met the other 2 that have the keys, Jacopo and the Beast guy. So yeah, I mean, right now he's just trying to figure out how he's going to get the key from Mel, so that's where we left off. Nevertheless, his cooperation will undoubtedly be the easiest of the 3 to gain. We were fortunate to run into him first. What makes you say that? Did you ever have a chance to see the shadows trapped in the mansion? Shadows? I might have, but around the time Hayden Rhodes passed away, I wasn't really there anymore. I stopped thinking, stopped trying to make sense of the things inhabiting the house. I had become merely another part of the cursed mansion. I was only able to converse with them after I had reclaimed myself. I suppose, much like the rules differ between the realms of the living and the dead, so too do they differ from those who have lost their grip on reality. As I was searching for a way to get you out of the tower, I encountered and spoke with the 3 men's shadows. Of the 3, Mel was the least threatening. He bears a great deal of regret. He yearns for someone to save him. I heard him muttering, "This isn't what I wanted." He doesn't want to be involved in this. Someone else is holding the reins. My first guess would be the Lord, but regardless, they are not equals in this endeavor. If he wants out, then maybe he would have agreed to help if we told him we're here to save Morgana. carelessly revealing our hand at this stage did not seem wise. It would have never gotten to this point if it were so easy to stop. So I guess our first task is to earn Mel's trust. Morgana's death is in 3 days. Wait. Why is it showing Giselle's name, but it's showing Michel's picture? Okay. We have until then to get all 3 keys. It won't be easy. I mean, we weren't even present in this world until today. Exactly. We have no one to vouch for us. No one who even knows who we are. But we have knowledge. Quite a bit of it, in fact. We not only know what happens in this era, but you showed me their next lives as well. From that, we can deduce how they might behave and to whom they have ties. You're right, we do. We know things we should have no way of knowing. And we can use that knowledge to our advantage. There are various interpersonal relationships where we can get our edge, I think. They each have their reasons for locking Morgana up, and if I'm right, they're doing it for other people. It's these powerful bonds driving them. Mel's driving force would be his sister, for instance. Are they mere bonds, or is it fate that ties them together? You're right. We should find and talk to his sister. Mel is more likely to act if it's coming from her than us. I agree. If his darling sister tells him to stop, he won't have any reason to continue his involvement. Knowing how the first tale ended makes me slightly uncertain. But for now, we can work under the assumption that he does genuinely care for her. What do you want to bet she's somewhere nearby? I mean, she will be. It was her death that sparked the chaos on the day of the Harvest Festival. Ah, right, it was. No, you're exactly right. But what I was going to say is that people tend to keep those they care most about close by. It would appear I have a bad tendency to focus too much on the facts. That was entirely unnecessary of me. Giselle did not need to be reminded of that. I'm sorry. Huh? What for? For being careless with my words, inconsiderate. No need to apologize for the truth. Besides, you and considerate are like oil and water. And today, you're the fire to my oil. We have 3 days to stop this tragedy. Let's get to work. Let's. We'll probably have more luck asking than just searching for her. If we can't find Mel, then none might know. Off we go. As I step into the chapel, I see an old man waving to the nun as he heads for the door. The man is practically beaming, and judging by the vial in his hand, he's happy about more than simply having the chance to see her. Is that Saint's blood? According to Morgana's account, a disease began spreading through the city at the Harvest Festival, eventually eradicating the population. In a time like this, where medical knowledge is so limited, a plague would be almost unstoppable, and the sight of so many people dying so quickly could appear to them the work of a demon or a curse. We come from the future, so we know just how dangerous this is. But they have no idea. Morgana described it as a tale that could have only taken place in that era of miracles and spirituality, and about that, she couldn't be more right. Could we maybe warn everyone against taking the medicine? I assumed the sickness was caused by them ingesting blood at any rate. It's not medicine they're being given, but bottled disease, like some sick joke. If we could convince them to stop taking Saint's blood, then maybe that would prevent the city from being destroyed. But the fact that it's being distributed in the house of the Lord and peddled as a miracle cure plays right into their deep-rooted spirituality. Would it even be possible to convince them otherwise? And besides, it's not them we came here to save, but... No, that's veering too far off our intended path. We need to find the truth and save Morgana's soul. Putting ourselves out like that is only going to get us unwanted attention, make people suspicious. We don't have that kind of time. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. It's just knowing what they're doing to themselves, I couldn't help but think that maybe there was something we could do. Especially considering how it all turns out. I understand the sentiment. Or rather, I understand your reasoning. But for me, Morgana takes priority over any of them, and you over everything. Releasing Morgana's soul should save yours as well, Giselle. If we can eliminate the mansion's darkness, then you won't have to be trapped as it's made. I have no interest in being the hero of the masses. Let's go ask about Mel's sister then. Okay. I turn my gaze back toward the nun to find her kneeling in one of the pews. She bows her head and begins to whisper a prayer. There's no one else in the chapel. Now's the perfect time to ask. Hearing me approach, she falls silent and turns to face me, wearing her usual disarming smile. Hello, Michel. Mel was just here. He told me everything. Can't turn away a friend of Mel's now, can we? Sorry for turning you down earlier. No worries. I did a poor job of explaining myself. So, did you need something? Ah, let me guess. Medicine? No, I'm in perfectly good health. I figured you were lying. I can ask her about Saint's blood some other time, and while I have a number of questions about the man she's close with too, right now, Mel's sister is priority. Are you familiar with Mel's younger sister? She has flaxen hair, much like him. Oh, you mean Nellie? Are you her friend too? I would say we're more... You're better off just saying you're friends. Friends, yes. What about her? I would like to speak with her, and I was wondering if you might know where I could find her. And Nellie should be down at the cottage, I believe. The cottage? Yep, that's where I stay too. I don't sleep in the mansion itself. So you don't live here but only work here? Right. For one, there are men who live here. The Lord likes to show up on occasion too, and we can't have a nun wandering around while he's here. So you and Nellie live together then? Yep, we have for about 6 months or so, ever since she and Mel showed up. I wanted to let her stay with her brother, but since this is technically church property, we have to keep the boys and girls separate. I see. I'm so glad to hear Nellie's got a friend, though. What? She's not from around here, so she doesn't have many acquaintances. And with how sick she can get, she doesn't spend much time outside, which is a shame because she's such a sweet little girl. I'm her friend, of course, but I've got responsibilities. I can only be around so often. So I'm sure she'd be delighted to have someone else to talk to. It would be my pleasure. Could you, tell me the way to the cottage then? Oh sure, it's not that far from here. You go down... The directions I got from the nun lead me to a place I know from my own time. It's the same building where the man who had been ordered to keep me under surveillance stayed. Sunlight seeps restlessly through the trees, and I find myself having to look down at my feet as I follow the path. It's blindingly bright, painful. How are you holding up, Michel? I'll be alright. The sun's past its peak. In a few hours, it won't be nearly as bad. Don't push yourself, okay? Okay. The trek is a reminder of just how inconvenient my body always was. And having this chance to experience being alive again comes with both the good parts and the bad. But now is hardly the time to complain about my sensitivity to the sun. It's not long before we reach a clearing, a small cottage surrounded by a small garden coming into view, and crouching by a flower bed, picking flowers, is the flaxen-haired girl. Are you Nellie? Though several details of her appearance don't match my memory of her, She still has that distinct hair. It could be nobody else. This Nellie is considerably thinner and looks rather frail. The effects of her being ill, I presume. Who are you? My name is Michel. I have a few questions to ask you. Can we talk for a bit? I would have thought she'd have said something by now. You're being way too blunt, Michel. You've gone and scared her. What else was I supposed to say? You have to approach slowly, carefully. Go on, give her a smile. A nice, soft smile. Smile. I'm only here to talk. There's nothing to be afraid of. Okay, that is definitely not a nice smile. I can't even see it, and I can still tell. What did you expect? I can't just smile on demand. Eek! It's a bad man! A bad man has come to kidnap me! Save me, dearest Mel, before this bad man does bad things to me. Calm down, please. I'm not going to do anything to you. Eek! Don't get any closer. I know you're trying to do bad things to me. I'm not going to do bad things to you. I couldn't, even if I wanted to. Don't move, or I'll call the guards on you. Please calm down. I mean you no harm, honestly. That's what all bad men say. No, Giselle, don't just watch. This would be a fantastic time for a little advice. Got it. Maybe she'll calm down if you mention Mel? You're a genius. I'm a friend of Mel's. Well, he was telling me about you and how you wanted someone to talk to. He asked me to go keep you company. Mel asked you to come talk to me? He did. Do you trust me now? So that makes you his friend then? As much as it pains me to admit it. Michel, what on earth possessed you to say that? A slip of the tongue. You and him. Is that so? Yes? You're pretty old to be friends with my Mel. Are you really, really, really his friend? Really? Then prove it. How so? If you're really his friend, then you should be able to tell me all about him. Why in God's name would you ever subject me to that? Do you not like Mel, Michel? That's not it. We're just incompatible. Okay, here we go. First question. What does my Mel like most of all? Nellie. You think so too? You think I'm his favorite thing in the whole wide world? I like to believe that's what he thinks. I think it'd be wonderful if I could always be his number one. Her excessive love for her brother is still out in full force, I see. Second question. What kind of person is my Mel? I should be like saving this. Okay, I'm pretty sure Nellie wants to hear he's a nice guy. That's right. He's a very nice guy. He can have his head in the clouds sometimes, but other than that, he's perfect. You know your stuff. To be honest, I was just saying what you wanted to hear. Me and my big mouth. Okay, final question. Describe what he looks like for me. He's decently handsome. Isn't he? He's like a modern-day Adonis. That might be a bit of a stretch. Mel could be a prince in a fairy tale. He's got the most perfect face. May I ask you something? You do realize he's still growing, right? And that can change a man in unimaginable ways. He could end up 2 heads taller, shoulders twice as broad, and covered in muscle before you realize what's happened. And body hair, lots of that. Facial hair as thick as these woods. Would you still consider Mel your prince if that happened to him? Mel with a beard and muscles? I won't have it. That's not my Mel at all. You're heading into dangerous waters, Mel. My Mel will never, ever grow a beard. I'll pray every day to make sure of it. And he won't get all big and muscly either. There's nothing princely about any of that. I wouldn't mind some muscles myself. Out of curiosity, did you ever want to be buff like that, Michel? Well, yes, of course. Every man wants to be strong and well-built. I don't think the beefy look would work on you. Well, that's the last of my questions. You're not a complete stranger, it seems. Sure, why not? You can be my Mel's friend. Why, thank you. This is great. I was sure you were a bad man. Why is it that the first impression everyone has of me is never that I'm someone decent? Any friend of Mel's must be a good person. No, an amazing person. That's quite the faith you have in him. Why wouldn't I? He's my big brother. That's some circular logic. Is it just you? Is Mel not coming? He's rather busy at the moment. Oh, always has something to take care of, that Mel. He's hardly given me any attention these past couple months. But that's okay, because today I've got you to keep me company. Yes, you do. I can't stay long, though. Alright, just stay until sundown then. You had something you wanted to ask me, didn't you? Well, if you're a good enough friend, I'll tell you anything you want to know. And how do I go about that? Talking. Lots and lots of talking. You have to keep me entertained. You're asking far too much of me. She's not asking much at all. She just wants to talk. Do you think someone who spent 13 years in isolation knows the first thing about holding a pleasant conversation? Hey now, I was there for a year of that. I'll help you come up with topics, so go on. Do you not want to talk to me? No, I do. I'm just not much of a conversationalist. Okay, then instead of talking, you can sing. I've never seen a minstrel before, but I've always wanted to know what kinds of songs they sing. Will you show me? I've never seen one myself either, but I have heard second-hand accounts of the songs of traveling jongleurs. Very well then. I'll teach you a song an old acquaintance of mine heard while traveling. Whee! I can't wait. Here goes. The silence is deafening. I'm shocked. I don't think I've ever heard someone sing so badly. Me neither. I'm flabbergasted. Let's hear you try then. That's enough singing for today. I don't want my ears to fall off. What a vicious little girl. I know. Let's bake something. Bake something? Yep. Come on inside. I made some nice jam earlier today, and I want to make it into a pretty little pie. You get to help me with that. I'm not much of a... Come on, get a move on. You either help or you get to be my friend. As you wish. This is not going to end well. Looks like Michel's got his hands full. And he thought this was going to be the easiest key to get. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. How on earth do you manage to turn a pie into this monstrosity? I gave it my best shot. There's only one explanation. You're possessed. It's true, he is, but I'm a perfectly good chef. Michel's just naturally terrible at it. Could this go any worse? I can't give this to Mel. Jerk, dimwit, loser. Uh, I'm sorry. Ugh. Well, I guess we've got no choice but to eat it ourselves. I'll set the table. What? And I'll make us some tea while I'm at it. You know, I've always dreamed of this. Sitting around a table with a friend, having snacks and just talking. Oh? Yep, and for that, I can deal with a little awful, disgusting pie. It's just too bad I couldn't share it with my Mel, too. I see. For all her complaining, she seems to be enjoying herself. I can only imagine how lonely she is out here. While she may act all bright and cheerful, beneath it is a real sense of isolation. And the same can be said about the girl behind the first door. As vivacious and pushy as she could be, you could see hints of loneliness behind it all. Her brother was practically all she had while she lived in the mansion. But if I were to guess, that's not the life she really wanted. I bet she would have preferred to be able to go out and play with friends. Being born into a noble family takes away a lot of your freedom. Even in such drastically different time periods, she's still the same girl inside. Actually, maybe the parallels extend beyond her as a person and into the courses of her two different lives. Perhaps that means all those who were reconstructed at Morgana's wish are destined to lead similar lives. Though destined might be putting it too nicely. Nellie. I would be glad to lend you my ear if you would like. You can talk about the weather or your brother, anything you want. You will? Great, take a seat. I've got lots I want to talk about. More than you can possibly imagine. And you'll never guess what Mel said next. That I mean more to him than anyone in the world. So I'm growing flowers out in the garden, right? Well, when I've got enough of them, I'm going to make a big bouquet and give it to Mel. Back at home, we've got this really big yard with this huge tree we used to take naps under when it was nice out. So what do you think about the tea I made? The flower petal's what really ties it all together. Oh, and you won't believe what happened after that. Care for another cup of tea? I'll make as much as you can drink. No, thank you. I'm fine. I feel like all I did was nod and listen. And the bulk of it was about Mel, no less. I haven't talked that much in ages. Time sure flew by, huh? The sun's starting to set. Do you and the nun not speak much? We do, but it's kind of, I don't know, not really the same with her. It just feels, I guess, like she's too important for me to waste her time being the lady in charge of the church and pretty much the whole estate. And what about Mel? Does he not visit you very often? No, he does. He comes to see me a lot. Then why? He hasn't been himself lately. My old Mel would always happily listen to whatever I had to say, but now he seems kind of distracted. It sounds like he's really busy. When he visits, he doesn't stay for long, and he has to go back to the mansion at night. I'll try to get him to stay longer, but it never works. And he always avoids the question when I ask him why he can't. It feels like he's hiding something. Knowing what he's hiding, I can understand why he wouldn't want to talk about it. He could never tell his precious little sister that he and two other men have a girl locked up in a tower, and that he's stealing her blood for her sake. I wish things could have stayed the way they were before. The way they were before? When it was just the two of us living together. I know we're more stable here, and I can get the medicine I need from the church. But I'd rather stay being sick than be so alone. You said you came here around 6 months ago? Yep, it was just the two of us before that. Well, before that, at our old house, we had a bunch of servants. But I never really liked it there either. With that many people around, I just felt more alone.
Fecha seus olhos e rouba minha lábios. Segredo minhas patas com boa
I liked it so much better when it was just me and Mel. Is that really what you want? To be sick and in constant pain? It's better than being alone. Mel just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand that the loneliness is so much worse. Or maybe that's just a guy thing. I don't get what it's like to be ignored. What it feels like to be left in the dark, not knowing anything. We don't understand, no. We think saving their lives matters above all. Huh? Even if there's a cost to saving that life, we're incapable of gauging how great it is. We're unable to see how egotistical, how self-serving our actions are. Are you talking about yourself? The same could be said of Mel as well, I imagine. Mel's still around, though. He's there, but it's like he's trying to avoid me. All I want is for him to be here, to be with me. That's all I really want. He doesn't even have to be a perfect fairy tale prince. Have you ever told him that? What? Have you ever told him that he doesn't have to be the perfect brother? That you'd be happy with just having him there? Have you ever put those feelings into words? I'm always telling him I want him around, and that he doesn't have to be your prince to do so. He's already said he will be my prince, and he always smiles whenever I talk about it. So, how am I supposed to turn around and say he doesn't have to be my prince anymore? I know it's not your intention to force an ideal image onto him, but unconsciously, subconsciously, that's what you're doing when you talk like that. And Mel, he's trying to meet those expectations. Actually, he may not be conscious of it himself, and he just believes deep down that that's the kind of person he's supposed to be. Or more accurately, he seems to have a need to make himself look good to others. He believes that if he's good to others, they'll be good to him in return. Am I a burden? I can assure you, he's better off with you around. But I am a burden to him right now, aren't I? Be honest with me. Yes, you are. Does Mel not like me anymore? Is that why he's been avoiding me? I promise you that's not the case. At the very least, he's doing what he's doing now because of how much he cares about you. You promise? I promise. I love him. I love my Mel so very much. Too much, in fact. To be honest, I know I do. I understand that, really. I know I'm making his life difficult. But Mel's all I have. He's the only person I can latch on to. And I can't control my feelings. It can be difficult to tame your emotions at your age. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you should have taken stock of those emotions, sorted through everything you've got on your mind, and then sat down with him to talk it out. Even if those things you feel seem wrong or unspeakable, you should have opened up to him, taken the time to figure out what works best for the both of you. You too needed to face the things you carried in your heart, the things your brother carried in his. By not doing so, you end up never quite on the same page. Small misunderstandings piling up until it all comes crashing down. If they had just talked it out, communicated their feelings to one another, maybe their tragedy could have been avoided, even with Morgana's curse in play. If Nellie had only had a chance to come to grips with her feelings for Mel, then maybe things wouldn't have escalated the way they did. Her actions that night were arguably hysteric, but she wasn't always like that. I'm sorry. That was out of line. None of this is any of my business, I know. No need to apologize. You're a very curious man, you know that? Huh? We only met a couple hours ago, but you talk like you've known me my whole life. It's like you can hear everything I'm thinking, see everything in my heart. Did Mel tell you all of that? No, he did not tell me much. I didn't think so. He doesn't know me that well. It's not too late, is it? If I talk to him, really tell him how I feel, do you think Mel will listen? I know he will. It won't make things worse? It won't make him uncomfortable? There is a chance that rifts may form at first, but those cracks can be filled again. And I promise you, the result will be something much better than if you had held it in. It will all work out. Okay, next time I see Mel, I'll tell him. I'll tell him he doesn't have to try to be my prince. Good. You really are a curious man. You're the first person to ever talk to me like I'm a real person. Everyone loves to say how sweet and adorable I am, but that's it. I was only ever their make-believe princess. You are a real person, I assure you. thanks. You know, after talking to you, I'm feeling a whole lot better. Like I can do anything. I'm glad you came by today. And I'm glad I could meet you in person. It's weird. It really feels like we've known each other our entire lives. I've known of you for some time. Or perhaps I should say, what you will become. Huh? Oh, no. Ignore me. Were you... Was that supposed to be a pickup line? Bad, bad, Michel. I'm still too young for that. No, I wasn't. And now you're getting flustered. I swear that's not what that was. I know, I know. Geez, do you really think I trust you that little? Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Okay. Alright, thanks for joining. I will be back again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night.